Hi, Jen. How you doing this morning or this
I'm well.
afternoon?
Yeah, I'm well, thanks.
Good deal. Broke through to a 500 record last year. Obviously, kind of a two-part season. Great in the non-conference. What has to go better in the conference schedule for you to get some more wins there?
Yeah, last year, unfortunately, we had two starters go down with injuries, and that's always tough. Just because I don't think we were very deep last year. So I definitely think we have more depth in our hitting positions this year. So I'm hopeful that that will be better for us, not only in matches, but also just in the practice gyms, kind of iron sharpening iron, making each other better every single day. So, yeah, just with that depth and continuing to recruit better players, hopefully we can, be competitive and get some of those, five setters or, as we were competitives, in some matches last year, hopefully we can get over that hump.
You're kind of in the middle of some volleyball hotbeds. Obviously, Pennsylvania's hot, Ohio's hot, West Virginia being the smaller state. It's not an unfamiliar position for WVU athletic teams to be in. So, how much has that contributed to you having to spread out your recruiting areas? Obviously, your roster really widespread.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I guess coming from Pullman, Washington before this wasn't exactly the hotbed of volleyball either. So, having that experience of, recruiting not only throughout the country, but all over the world as well. And we kind of like, having our roster, that way. I think it brings great flexibility and different personalities to the table. And, so I think that's something that we just have to do in this day and age, and where volleyball is, really probably in the state of West Virginia. And it's just, a very popular sport throughout the country and throughout the world. And we are a little saturated here with some really heavy hitters in Pennsylvania, especially. And so going out trying to find those players that can help us, we'll go wherever we need to.
Is it important for you to bump up the strength of the non-conference schedule any? I mean, obviously the Big 12 is difficult enough, but do you have a goal toward making a couple of those opponents maybe a little bit tougher tier to prepare yourself a little better, or do you get enough in the
Probably
Big
not
12?
right now.
Yeah.
I mean, going into the Big 12, and having, the kind of success that our conference had last year with having, 10 teams go to the tournament, that kind of takes care of itself as far as having a really tough schedule. And with 10 new players, scheduling for us, I think we knew we're going to have to get used to playing with each other and get people some experience. So, that's why we kind of scheduled the way we did it in the preseason non-conference, just to get hopefully people a lot of playing time, good experience, and kind of, see where we can gel. And then hopefully in the future we can play those kind of teams.
Hosting two tournaments this year. Intentional in that regard, those that kind of same idea.
Yeah, for sure. It's always nice to be at home, and not have to travel. And so I think just the opportunity presented itself this year that we were able to host two tournaments, and not very many schools are able to do that. And so you just have a little bit more control over who you can, bring to your tournament, and what you're guaranteeing them, and so on and so forth. So yeah, we're really lucky this year that we get to host twice.
You touched on this a little bit with 10 new players this year. You're building a program here. Obviously came from a, low bar and have been making progress. How much more difficult is it with the roster turnovers that all sports see today?
Yeah, I think any coach is, kind of questioning like, oh my gosh, is this going to be the roster next year? Are people going to stay? It's just become a very interesting profession. And we really have had more success, I think, bringing people in from the transfer portal. We haven't really, lost um, too many people, unless, we've wanted to maybe make some changes ourselves. But yeah, just you just never know with rosters, and hopefully we continue to build and continue to keep the players that we want, and really focusing on fundamentals, and we have a lot of young kids, so hopefully we can teach them well, and they stay and continue to make strides and become better.
What's outside of players? What's the one thing this program needs to take that next step?
Oh boy, that's a loaded question.
I don't mean to get you in trouble. Obviously, you're the
Yeah.
coach.
Like, how much can I say? No, just kidding. Um, I think the one thing that is a little bit tough, for us as just the volleyball program is we play in the Coliseum, and that seats 14,000 people. So it's pretty tough to, create kind of that home court advantage of being in a smaller arena where it's maybe volleyball only or other sports like that. We don't have a practice facility or anything like that of our own, so we're always happy to share with basketball, of course. But it just makes it a little bit tough, but we don't have control over that. That's maybe somewhere down the line as far as facility master plans go. But we're trying to get as many fans as we can and create that environment, but it's tough with that many seats.